Well, hello there. My name is Dave Bila. I want to welcome you to this new edition of News and Views, broadcast by Access LaPorte County on Public Access TV Channel 99. We are a weekly public opinion program addressing local, state, and national topics and issues of interest to the Michigan City and surrounding areas. Opinions are the views and the responsibilities of making the comments do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of this program or its co-producers. We will adhere to broadcast rules, but no one's First Amendment rights of freedom of speech or freedom of the press will be either muzzled nor denied. Any unauthorized use of the accounts, descriptions, and events of this program without the express written consent of its by co-producers is strictly prohibited. We hope you enjoy the program, the discussion, and the participants. Bob Pollock is not here today. He's on special assignment, and I believe he'll return next week. Michigan City Municipal Band concert, the 8th concert, 157th season, will be held July 24th at Guy Foreman Amphitheater. They have a large format of music. I'm not going to read it all, but Chuck Steck, a trumpet professor at Valparaiso University, will serve as conductor. Who serves as conductor of LaPorte City Band. He'll have a dueling trumpet dueling trumpet presentation with someone else. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty.
We got a whiz bang of a show here.
Tony brought to our attention a press release.
Indiana Business
Journal of the 10th of July, talking about a data center. So that sort of opened the door to the thought process.
Well, wait a minute, we got to tell them how a brilliant man you are.
No, we don't.
So I talked about this data center, and then Dave got smart enough. What'd you do?
I got some details. That's all.
We talk about things, and I feel silly because
this guy is smart.
Because all we had to do was drive out there.
Oh.
Folks, just drive out there. Don't take our word for it.
Yeah. I decided.
Brilliant.
I decided to let's take a trip.
Brilliant.
A trip we're going to take through the city of Michigan City, down Michigan Boulevard to Royal Road, and looking at the Anco property.
Interesting.
Wow, that property has changed.
Full scale construction.
So then I tell Tony about it, and he then followed up.
I thought,
and you know what he found out? Same thing I saw.
Full scale, because we're not talking about people just starting. And,
no.
And we talked about New Carlisle and Amazon and the battery plant.
This has a roof on it.
Just go out the Royal Road. Whatever, we're going to backpedal a little bit here, but go out there and you'll see that they've been constructing for months and months and months. This didn't just happen. And it usually takes you 6-8 months, a year to get to the permit process to begin construction. And they are, I would say, that Anco building ain't much left of its original building. It's probably 60% done in a complete rehab and addition. Mm-hmm. And I guess I'm not a social media fan. Somebody in social media in May said, "What's going on?" And we didn't pay attention. We shirked our job.
An individual on May 19th wrote on Facebook, what's going on at the Anco property? Well, I remember reading that, but I didn't. It just went over my head in one eye and out the other ear. I then went out there and saw something new, something old, something new, something borrowed, and something elevated. It appears as if the roof has been elevated. Mm-hmm. So just recently, then I went to Google and Googled the property, and the image data that they had published on 6/20 of 24 showed that the Anco building has 20-foot high ceilings in 6/20 of 24. Well, they have 20-foot high ceilings at 6/20 of 24, and this particular May the 19th inquiry to Facebook questioned what's going on. So then I tell this to Tony, and he says, well, find out about building permits. When were they issued on the property? Aha! So I'm sitting in my computer this morning, and Tony said, go down to City Hall. Well, I wasn't.
That's a bold move.
I gotta skate slow before I go down and act irrational.
I haven't got any information back from my sources, but go ahead.
But my question to Google was private investment used for the Anco property on Royal Road in the city of Michigan City? Okay, and the answer is yes. Private investment has played a role in the property on Royal Road in Michigan City, Indiana, formerly Anco. Phoenix, Michigan City Industrial Investor, LLC, bought the 67-acre site in 2022 for $1.25 million. The company plans to lease the existing 40,000 square foot building to an end user. They have had discussions about the site becoming a data center, but as of July 14, 2025, no formal agreement has been reached between the city of Michigan City and the developer regarding that site.
Wait a minute. A 40,000 square foot, drive out there.
No, I said 400 times? I said, didn't I say 400?
I think it's bigger now.
Okay. Yeah. Now, on July 14th, the mayor of the city of Michigan City initiated a press release.
Saturday afternoon.
And basically her press release said, any major project of this magnitude must bring tangible value and benefits to the city of Michigan City. This is an $800 million project.
Almost $1 billion.
And she is questioning the validity of this. Any major project of this magnitude must bring tangible value and benefit to the city of Michigan City. Would you think that that statement, there wasn't thought behind making that statement?
We're going to spend almost a whole show on this press release.
Right. $800 million. Now,
and we got to give another kudos
to Clarence Holtz.
To Clarence Holtz.
I applaud him. I badgered him in the past.
And if this is what he did, good job, Clarence. Good job.
Now,
wait, you found something out a little before the show last week and something after the show last week about the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. What was it? $40 million?
Tax break. Yeah, tax break for 25 years.
So that was in place
before she made her statement.
We knew and made a statement, and we're still trying to wrangle. But let's go over this statement. This statement is very interesting
now,
in many ways.
Now, according to multiple news reports, Phoenix, Michigan City, an industrial investor, LLC, purchased the former Anco windshield wiper property on Royal Road in Michigan City, Indiana, in late 2022. So that rung a bell. So I did a little research to say, wow, were there any permits issued on that property in 2022 or in the spring of 2023 as far as building permits go? The reason why I did that was because Tony suggested that I go down to the city hall and make a request.
The building permit should show who did it, what they were telling the city they were doing, and when they got the permit. Because again, we're going to go back to the mayor's statement, and a kudos to Clarence. This has to been in the works months and months and months. And we are definitely for transparency here. We know we talked about in the past how a data center went to Chesterton and got booted, went to Valparaiso and got booted, went to Porter County and got booted, and we were hoping Clarence would jump on it. Well, maybe he's quicker than we thought. So
now, my research,
a data center requires a place to go in zoning. It has to be ready and zoned, which we talked about last.
And this is zoned properly. Industrial. It can move in right away.
It's a
M2.
It's an M2.
It's an M2.
It's a light
industrial. It is already zoned properly for this data center. Well, again, going back to the mayor's statement about
you're going to have to keep that ready at hand, because that mayor's statement, line for line, needs to be, it's very interesting.
Now, if the mayor sat on the redevelopment commission, she made statement, she sat on the redevelopment commission for 8 years. She was a member of the redevelopment commission. You would think in that span of 8 years, in the span of 15 minutes, we can sit together and glean some information, and you learn from me and I learn from you. Isn't that
Short order.
acceptable?
And we're
It's just-
not on the end here.
No, we're not on
This
the
is
end.
public information.
She sat there for 8 years, and she didn't know that a major project of this magnitude to bring tangible value and benefits to the Michigan City resident. She didn't know that an $8 million project, it didn't even
800 million.
800. Yeah, the money's so big. Hey, what's a
Now it's like $1 billion or $2 billion between friends.
yeah.
$1 billion here, $1 billion there. Pretty soon we talk about real money.
The fact of the matter is, read that. You read that. See
Okay.
what you get out of it.
So it says, in light of the recent news from Indiana Development Corporation, IEDC, regarding the incentive approvals for several planned data centers across the state, they had some code names. The one they talked about here was called maize, as in corn. You can look it up. It's on the IEDC website, including one in Michigan City. Mayor Angie Nelson Deutsch offers the following clarification. So this is why this show is going to be a bunch of fun. Earlier this year, 2025, that is 7 months at max. Go look at Royal Road. Earlier this year, the City of Michigan City and City Council were made aware of a potential data center development. Out of respect for the exploratory nature of the proposal, the mayor's administration and members of the council entered into a non-disclosure agreement. I've seen this before. I'm not an attorney. I don't understand how public officials can enter NDAs. As soon as it hits a public official's desk, I don't understand how it's not public, but it happens. Not to harp on anybody. To review the concept on May 19th, I just realized May 19th, and then
Which I brought that up. Yeah.
and somebody talked about this on social media.
Well, that was also May 19th.
That something was happening out there.
Yes.
Not that they had a meeting. That something was afoot. They were constructing on the site.
Mm-hmm.
And this is May 19th. So I don't know. I mean, this is a good thing. $800 million at, I don't care, 20 or 30 jobs is a great thing for Michigan City. Why the cloak and dagger? While initial discussions took place, no formal agreement was ever reached at the local. Okay, we're going to parse words here. No formal agreement was ever reached at the local level, but they had to have a permit in order to do construction that we see on social media was happening out there. I don't know. That's not a formal agreement for a data center, but that was a formal agreement with the city to issue a permit, because go out there. It's pretty intense, the construction, and it's good. It's a good thing. Unfortunately, the developer did not present any binding commitments that ensure lasting benefits for Michigan City residents. But they're spending, I don't know how many untold. I know a building I just was at this week in LaPorte County. It's a $5 million building. I believe it's 120 by 300, so it's not nearly this big. It's a really nice building. Free span, beautiful industrial building. So they've got to spend untold millions on what they're doing out there. They've moved dirt. Like I've seen on major sites, they've moved a lot of dirt. There is a lot of iron out there moving dirt. The building is completely gutted. The administrative part's gone. I think all the ancillary smaller buildings are gone. It's been added on to. It's a gargantuan project, and good.
And the roof on the north end of the building, what I visualize, the roof has been raised. Did you notice that?
Yeah. So
the picture on the image of Google Earth as of 6/20 of 24 showed that the then current roof was 20 foot high off of the ground. That new addition on the north side of the building appears to elevate it another maybe, 4 to 6 foot? Did you see an elevation of that?
it's a time frame question, and again, I don't know why the cloak and dagger, because we talked about it last week. It's zoned light industrial, M2.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Michigan City or any community has their zoning ordinance, which you got to follow. Every builder follows. They take the book. It's about 500 pages long. They go through there and figure out what they have to do for a permit. These people obviously did that, and they have a permit. And they're rehabbing that building, which is nice. They're not just tearing it down and starting over. They might be adding on, but it's a very nice building. And they're fixing that building up. So there are steps they took to get a permit. And in those steps, they would have had to, in the permit, they would have had to state the purpose. You have to state the purpose. And you have the name, the purpose, and the amount. They have to state the amount. That gets in a database statewide, the amount of construction. That's where they get those numbers from, the local building commissioner. So they must have known this at a minimum at the very start of the year, at a maximum last fall. And good thing that these people want to do it, but they're not going to spend millions of dollars. So back to the zoning and the joint zone and the zoning ordinance and the uses in manufacturing, industrial zoned areas. If we don't know what's going in there, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. If they thought they had a contract for a data center and Michigan City does not have specific requirements for a data center, they could go in, file the permit, and they could say data center. They could say, right, that's why I said someone needs to find out what that permit says. They could say data center or something close, because if you don't have something in your building commissioner's rules of uses, classification of uses, you pick the one that's closest to it. And you can't say no. So maybe this was a kudos to Clarence and maybe even Skylar that they said they came in and we're going to do a data center and we have the zone property, we have a building we're going to rehab, and we're going to put on here some use close to data center, and if everyone gets up in arms, I'm sorry, they already have the permit.
Yeah.
There's no stopping now.
Would you take the time to digest this article?
Yeah,
read
this
it to the public.
is an AI article, so we got to be careful. Artificial intelligence. According, the news reports say it's a Phoenix from Michigan City, Anco Winchell Water Plant. The property is already zoned for light industrial use. AI says this, which I think AI's got a lot of learning to do, which would allow for development like proposed data center without needing the city's approval or building permit. It would need a building permit. It would need the city's approval. The building permit is set by the rules, so everyone knows what the rules are when you go to do a piece of property, residential, commercial, industrial, business, whatever it is, and the use, and you follow these rules, you go through the book, you check the list, and you get the permit. The city can't just pick and choose. That's against the Constitution. You can't pick and choose who gets a permit, who doesn't. These are the rules. They are outlined in their past, and if they follow them, so AI says, which would allow for development like the proposed data center without needing the city's approval. It says, or building permit, but it would need a building permit. But they'd have to give it to them. And so they pay their fee. The building department reviews it, takes the fee, makes sure they have their people who are building it. They're all accepted contractors. They bond it, and they go. There's no saying, even if they said data center, which we don't know again, if they said data center, they get it. Michigan City, that's why I was last week, that if Michigan City is concerned about things like data centers, battery storage plants, solar air things, those have to be in the rules prior to when somebody applies. They can apply, like these people, if they said data center or whatever they're doing out there, they apply and then they get a permit. And the city can't come back and say, wait a minute, we don't like the data center, it's not enough jobs, or 800 million is not enough. You got to stop. Nope. They got a permit, move on. Now the next person that comes along, same game. They have to have it in the rules, and they will follow the rules. If it's not in the rules, just like anybody, they could take the rules that are in place and follow them, and they get a permit. You can't pick and choose who you say no to. The public can get very upset about it. Now, Dave was saying that, we were talking about this, and there was an article in the Northwest Indiana Times about the Hobart mayor. And the Hobarts get into data centers kind of just like this one. And Hobart realizes they're going to be very short in money. So the mayor, I don't remember his name, sounds like a good stand-up guy, jumped right into the fire, held a community outreach meeting because everyone was upset that this data center in Hobart's coming. They had rules. The data center applied, I believe. The data center met the rules. They get their data center and they're going to build this, construct this. That's the way it works, and that's how business functions, and that's how our houses function. We can't just say we want to build a house and halfway through it the city says, I don't like your house, I got these new rules, you got to abide by them. No, I got my permit. I don't have to abide by your new rules. I'm grandfathered in. So the mayor held this community outreach, and some people were upset, understandably. And he said, listen, I'm going to be straight with you guys, and these are my words. We're going to be short money. We're going to lose firefighters, policemen. We're going to lose a lot of money because Indiana budget. And I know you may not like it, but this fills a hole. And I think they were in the same boat, $800 million, $1 billion. And I think the people understood. I don't think they liked it much, but they understood this is the way it is. As long as the data center, I'm going to go back to the zoning ordinance and the rules, as long as the data center in Hobart follows its rules, and their rules were clear about noise, pollution, decibels. I don't know how much Michigan City has in it. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not even 100% sure about City of LaPorte or County of LaPorte, but I know there is some decibel levels in the ordinance. But I don't think they're clearly spelled out about making sure that the neighbors don't have to hear a droning noise from the fans and the cooling of a data center. So Hobart has it in place. The mayor came out, he stood up for it, he held a public meeting, he told them the pluses and minuses. They outweighed, the pluses outweighed the minuses, they were doing it, they have a permit. It's the best they could do.
Okay, when you look at Google Earth, you see the Anco property. North of the Anco property is a Diamond Manufacturing on the north.
BB Manufacturing.
Okay.
Good people.
Krieger Middle School is to the west.
Yeah, not too far to
NIPSCO Trail Creek Substation is directly across the street. A sliver of tall timbers is located
Springland Ave.
to Royal Road. When you look at that area, there are not too many residential individuals that reside in that area.
North and east.
North and east. It may, if it makes a lot of noise, it may prevent somebody with a 7-iron of chipping onto the green at the North Golf Course because it may disrupt his mindset.
Well, they have the train that goes by.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. When the engineer blowing his whistle when somebody's ready to tee off. You know, but the issue of noise. When you take into account all of the vacant land around this proposed site, there may be noise, but it's in a recessed valley, because I did the topographical reading on that as well, just to check that out. So I see something here that happened after Angie disputed this event. I watched the Energy and Innovation Summit on July 15th in Pennsylvania that Trump put on. And that summit basically brought in $90 billion in development to the east side of the United States. The majority of it was located in the Pennsylvania area.
East Coast grid.
There might have been some political reason because that's one of the key states that must be won. So a good portion of that money went to Pennsylvania. 20% of that $90 billion, 20% is going to natural gas production.
$18 billion.
We've got NIPSCO now maybe reassessing its position to maybe generate electricity through natural gas.
Yeah, that's sad.
We've got Westinghouse building supposedly 6 to 10 nuclear sites, nuclear generating sites, up until the year of 2030.
I did some research.
You know,
it's dozens of them, and they're starting at 2030.
They're starting at 2030. Well, these,
and I didn't know Westinghouse was a major player in nuclear sites. They are the innovators of nuclear. I didn't know that.
So some of that 20% for this, Westinghouse, electric, and steel. The steel industry in Pennsylvania is going to be resurrected, the steel belt. And when
bigger than us, right?
Yeah. When you look at the map, from Ohio state line to the east, you look in the upper northwestern part of that land, and there's a little bitty snippet that goes into the southwest corner of the state of Michigan. And in that little bitty snippet of an area includes the Michigan City for electrical generation. We're included, as well as the city of Chicago is included. Mm-hmm. Somebody is doing some calculating way in advance to basically not force this $800 billion project down our throat, but seeing what economic development is all about, in my mind, and is foreseeing the future. I'm just saying what we've got, a revolution is on its foot. The Rust Belt will be no more. And with this data center, in conjunction with revitalization of the Rust Belt, again, we're on a verge of maybe a new Silicon Valley.
So Indiana, and our area
stuff
especially, is the crossroads of many things. I think we are now understanding our area is also the crossroads of data. Data doesn't magically go from place to place. It goes through trunk lines, just like the electric grid, just like the interstates, just like the railroads. They are trunk lines, major hubs. And here we are, northern Indiana, Chicago, all the way across Ohio, New York, all the way over going west. We are sitting at central area of data, and we are the interstate of data. So Michigan City, $800 million, fantastic news. We get to participate because this will only solidify our area as the center, the crossroads of data, roads, trucks, railroads, and Michigan City has Lake Michigan. So we need the electricity, we have the water.
When I first read this, when Tony brought this up, I sit in front of the computer screen and think a little bit. And I thought it was a situation here in Michigan City many, many years ago when basically we turned our back on Bass Pro Shop. You know, this is nowhere near what the concept of Bass Pro Shop did to the Chesterton area. It is bigger than all three of us, and only two of us are here right now. Her comments were premature because if you see what's going on, if she had communication with Clarence Holtz,
they had to know. Everyone.
Why would this statement be made?
I don't know. They had to know. So again, you have to have a subscription to Indiana Business Journal. This article is amazing. And I knew before, and I really couldn't say much because it was secondhand information, but now this article came out. What's very interesting, we didn't talk about last week because we don't only have an hour show. People think an hour, it's a lot. We don't have enough time.
I work, but sometimes I turn the computer on at midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning.
We find so much. But let's read this Indiana Business Journal article, which I don't think anyone has reported except Indiana Business Journal. We talked about it here weeks before. He didn't know I'm going to say this. Given Phoenix Investments is the owner of this place, of the Anco Plat, who's full construction mode, I think 60% done with this building, way ahead of the game. Given Phoenix is not a data center operator, it is likely the company will lease the building to an undisclosed end user. Phoenix also owns a massive production plant in Warsaw, which is leasing to startup Slate Auto. We talked about the Slate vehicle and auto. That's Jeff Bezos. That's Amazon. So now we just opened the door to something that we probably aren't inside to know. If the mayor says they discussed the data center, but that's a non-starter, Slate Auto is a new auto that's coming out, electric, little small pickup. It's now $25,000 that you can get this. Started up with money from Bezos and Amazon. And they are a modular vehicle. And they said I just read an article yesterday that their point in construction to keep price down is to modularize their construction. If Phoenix Investors also is highly owns, it has a massive production plant, owns a massive production plant in Warsaw, are they going to start producing some parts at Anco? And that's why they raised the ceiling, the roof? Maybe that's the cloak and dagger here. That yes, Phoenix said, how about a data center? Mayor said, no, it's not enough people, but it's $800 million. And they said, okay, how about some production and some parts from Slate Auto? We don't know. We're not inside, but you can read this article. Crucially, the rural property is already zoned for light industrial use, meaning the end user doesn't need the city's approval to turn the site into a data center. That's where AI got this. AI read this article online, and those words exactly fell in the AI. But then they added something about building permit. No, they need, and the article goes on, rezoning efforts have run into stiff public opposition in recent months in multiple communities around Indiana, including Costa County, Indianapolis, and Northwest Indiana. Grassroots in Valparaiso and Chesterton also caused data center proposals to get scrapped within the last year, with opponents saying there are negative environmental consequences and the data centers suck up too much energy. Wow, this is amazing that we get to do this show. And it does take a little bit of looking around at articles, and you could find this stuff online.
Read between the lines. And it'll take you to the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step.
That's where I was going. Though the property doesn't need to be rezoned, Michigan City's Council will vote in the near future. How do they know Michigan City's Council is going to vote in the near future? On creating a TIF district for the project. Somebody knows something we don't, because they talk, again, I said this last week, they talked to Councilman Beatry, they talked to Councilmember Nancy Moldenauer, and they talked to Council President. That's in the article. They talked to those people. And did somebody say there's a vote coming up for a district, TIF district, for the project? We don't know what the project is. And the council will also have to approve any tax abatements. So you found out something about tax district 2 that I didn't know about, that they voted on right here by the city hall. Redevelopment.
Oh. Well, have we?
No, we just want to attach the two. That's how this works.
Yeah. Basically the SOLA project is finding it difficult to generate.
Yes, we
funds.
talked about that article. They lost one of their finance arms,
Right.
and they're looking for it.
Right.
It's a stat.
The Michigan City Redevelopment Commission enacted a two-phase, I would just say a push the SOLA project ahead a little bit. First of all, by kicking a can down a road 6 months, but also create the Northside TIF district is going to cease and desist in 3 years. Okay. So the solar project, similar to the project out there on Tryon Road, is going, which was established a specific tax district within itself. It was voted on and it was approved. That same concept is now going to apply to one of the two phases of SOLA.
Yeah.
The tax revenue generated for the next 25 years with this SOLA project, it'll be its own little entity, will then go to pay off these bonds for the next 25 years for paying off SOLA, which then supposedly is helping the people who want to build SOLA, want to help them get their project funded. It's the city's, this is how the city wants to help. But the fact of the matter is the SOLA project will be, the TIF revenue will be specifically designated specifically for the SOLA project, period. It's not going to be made available to any other entity. And in my mind, this goes then back to the 15% that the Michigan City area schools is being shortchanged.
Are they now?
Well,
you got some new information on that too.
Kevin McGuire made a presentation to the, I tried to get hold of Kevin McGuire, and the school cities, they're closed. They're closed today and they're closed yesterday.
Yeah, summertime.
But the Kevin McGuire at the technology level, it presented a program to the Redevelopment Commission for their consideration that will basically double their amount of proceeds that they got from redevelopment in years past. This will be for a 3-year program, not a 5-year extended program. It'll just be a 3-year program because that sort of coincides with the closing of the TIF district, or the North End TIF district. Well, the North End TIF district will close, but then the solar project will open up. Regardless of what opens and what closes, the school city still gets shortchanged. And I finally got my Form 22 from the auditor's office looking at the funding of what the redevelopment commission gets, and in 24 they received roughly $8,315,000, of which the school city is eligible for
15%.
15%.
If they ask.
If they ask for it. Well, the Michigan City, I'm not telling the Michigan City area schools what to ask for, but I suggested shoot for the moon.
Ask for all you can get.
And so the redevelopment commission has now taken Mr. McGuire's concerns under advisement. Looking at the dollars and cents of what's going on here, Michigan City in redevelopment is going to probably come back with a counteroffer. Because they see all the other activity that's going on, and they see that their $9 million a year that they're getting, their golden pot of gold might be drying up somewhat. But why should we shortchange education? McGuire has got within what his request is a technological upgrade for the entire Michigan City area schools. He's talking about setting aside some of this money to aid, to instruct the kids who are interested in technology. That aspect of, now Bob was talking about, education, educating the kids on the weekend summer school and all this other. Kevin is taking a group of these kids who are interested in technology and teaching them the ropes. We have here a possibility of a tech center, right? Moving in.
$800 million.
$800 million.
Tech center.
McGuire is ahead of the game.
Yeah, Michigan City, and it's hard to see the forest for the trees here as anyone, elected official or regular private person, and that's why some companies make headways and lots of companies don't. You have to have talented people. We have Kevin McGuire. I would hope that they would see the light here that Kevin McGuire is asking for money. We had him on the show. He's an amazing individual, technologically advanced. We're lucky to have him. He has an internet Wi-Fi system between schools in Michigan City and around our Michigan City school area. If the redevelopment district was very wise, they would understand the value of Kevin McGuire and his Wi-Fi system and ask him, how much would it cost you, the school proper, the school, you run it through the school, to create this Wi-Fi network all through town? And then the school would own it and run it, but our residents, our citizens, and our community and our businesses and our government would get to use this as another internet capability. And that would go a long ways to help the school have technology for the students, the internet for them wherever they are, at home, at an event, in the community, the internet available for the Michigan City citizens, the residents, the businesses, the government, set up and run, created by a very, very talented individual.
Beyond the 3D printers and the other tangible assets that he's buying to utilize as teaching instruments to teach the kids, he also talked about communication. We've got a problem here in the city of Michigan City with communicating with buses once they get out of the established district. Part of his money is going to be spent that will, at the present time, a school bus driver, maybe who is outside of the loop, has to utilize his or her cell phone to contact the bus department here in Michigan City. He will have, within all of the buses, a communication system set up, direct communication line, so you don't have to utilize your cell phone and press a series of buttons to get area code 219.
He understands, and he's a very talented person, understands cell phones and other communications are on and off. His communication he's talking about, Wi-Fi, is on constantly, all day, all night. Doesn't, you don't turn your phone on and start communicating. It is on for whatever reason. Emergency services, buses, school buses, students who need to know that something doesn't happen, things that happen at school, things that happen out in the community, events. He completely understands the value of that internet network And we're not talking about your home and your Wi-Fi. We're talking about an internet network for all Michigan City area school ground. Awesome.
He
can do it. He'll get done.
He can do it. Well, some
He's
of it's
got it
already
running.
been, some of it's already been implemented at the from elementary
Yeah,
level
school
to
to school
elementary.
to school. We could add government buildings. We could probably add businesses on there. And we're talking everything from safety and security to commerce.
If the redevelopment commission comes back with a counter offer for less the amount of money that he is requesting, shame on the redevelopment commission.
Their offer should be double. When somebody like that comes in front of you in the business or the public world, you say, thank you, I'm glad your talent is here. Can we utilize your talent to its fullest degree? I want to give you double what you're asking and get this network up and running and give us all access and give us broadband width, and we all win and save money. Because I want to go back to Kevin McGuire is in the school system. We talk all the time about events that come in town, and somebody spends $1, it's $10 worth of goods or $10 worth of good things for the city. When you talk about education, I don't know what those numbers are, but $1 spent is probably $100 in return for the next 70 years. Not just somebody comes along, buys something that's worth $10 in return on the day. No, it's you investing in education, that return is multiple times, it's parabolic. It means it goes up and it keeps giving and giving and giving for the lifetime of those people.
The Form 22 that I got from the county, that I spoke last week, they called me. I got a phone call from the county after I made a few new inroads.
Things happen in the county.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed.
And again, as I was walking out, I stuck my head through the door and I wanted to thank the county commissioner which she wasn't there, but I wanted to thank her for her input. The June settlement for 2025 from TIF district revenue for all districts that encompass the area in Michigan City.
Michigan City redevelopment.
Right. Accounts redevelopment, what they put in their coffers, amounts to $4,425,555.12, which is roughly $100,000 more.
Yeah, that's more.
Than it was last year
It's more.
in 23. Last year in 23 it was $4,304,000. This year it's $4,400,000. So that's actually 100. $100,000 from 4,300,000 to 4,120,000.
$119,000.
The redevelopment commission has a dollar flow that is coming in, and
Things are looking up.
and it's not going to be on a downturn. Redevelopment is not the proceeds from the TIF district is not going to be a downturn. It's going to constantly rise as the community grows with new construction. I'm just saying that again, redevelopment commission. If there is any reservations about what Kevin McGuire is requesting on behalf of the members of the redevelopment commission, I suggest that you resign if you have reservations about what's going on here.
When you have that talent, and Kevin McGuire is a golden piece of talent that Michigan City is blessed to have, you give him as much as he can get done. Because that talent does not come around. I just thought we got homework. So we're going to have to find out what the assessment is on an $800 million facility that would increase either TIF revenue or tax assessment for Michigan City. I'm sure the assessment of a data center, if that's what it is, or an $800 million facility is probably in the tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars.
Now, wait. No, you're not making any sense.
That we would get more money.
You're not making. The mayor says city leadership remain committed to foster development opportunities that bring shared prosperity and long-term value. Wait a minute.
That's not long-term value.
The leader of our city is looking for something that fosters development that brings shared prosperity over long-term value. If she, what her press release versus, that don't make sense to me. If you've got an $800 million project on your doorstep. Well, maybe it does. Because for the last 45 years, I've been badgering about Michigan City getting off of the dead DUPA and doing something. Here we got something constructive to be accomplished, and we've got a mayor that's in opposition to it.
I don't know if she's in opposition. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. I think she's negotiating in the media. I think she's negotiating, which is a very dangerous thing to do.
In my mind, since the state has already authorized
40 million?
40 million in tax credits for this particular project, regardless of what goes into it.
And it's already zoned.
It's already zoned.
And they have a permit for whatever they're doing out there. There's a permit. That new building, 60% done.
That nail has been struck. That nail has been struck.
And if you're going to negotiate with somebody after they're already in the leadership position of the negotiation, they might not be very happy.
Acquiring, again, serving in the capacity of Mayor of Michigan City, she got what, 1,800 votes in a general election, maybe?
She's the winner by far.
She's the winner of the election. And she is going to go against an edict that's been established in the state of Indiana. She's going to stand in the way of a windfall.
$800 million.
The city of Michigan City is talking about how are we going to afford another garbage man on the back of a garbage truck, and how are we going to? We've got city streets that we got potholes that need to be filled. We got city streets that are lined with garbage that hadn't been picked up. There are so many things that we can do with that. Look at NIPSCO, the NIPSCO property over here. That property is. The tax on that property is not governed by our local assessor. It's governed by the state of Indiana. Mm-hmm. We will have a similar situation with the tax on this property. The tax benefits derived from this data center not being created by the county assessor. It's going to be they already know the value of what this property would bring tax-wise. I would say,
I was looking at Blue Chip. You know what the assessment of Blue Chip is? $82.5 million.
And the state controls that particular property. I don't believe it's assessed.
I'm just saying it's $82.5 million assessment. So that is what? 2%?
10 times. I'm
2% of that we get for tax every year. And we have more homework to do. We're going to have to find out how much, when Blue Chip came in, how much they spent to do that. I don't think it was anywhere near $800 million.
I'm just saying.
I could be wrong. I don't think Blue Chip was an $800 million build out.
I'm just saying this was.
And now it's assessed at $82 million. Yeah. So what's the data center going to be assessed at?
Yeah. Well, this is a premature.
Or
she was a premature. No, regardless. When you have that amount of potential revenue sitting at the doorstep, you don't turn your back on it, and you don't find out. That's the Michigan City attitude that has to change. I've been saying that for years too. We always. The
press release was very interesting because it happened after everything blew up Friday and Saturday morning, and then again you were brilliant in your move to go look at it. I feel stupid that I didn't drive out and look at this. I never in my wildest dreams thought that this project, whatever it is, would already be, again, I think 60% done. Built. It's not just they talked about it and somebody came talked about it and we signed an NDA and we're waiting to hear back from them. They're out there spending tens of millions of dollars on a building. Again, a fantastic opportunity. Good job, Clarence. To put that press release out, I don't understand.
I don't either.
It's $800 million.
But again, right now, that's the leadership of our community. That's what we voted, or that's what was the individuals voted into office. But I don't believe that this was made out of sound mind, in my opinion. I really don't.
That's my next question. What happens from here? We know the building's going up. We know that there's $40 million in tax incentives. We know there was a potential $800 million data center. What happens from here in the next month, 3 months, 1 year? Again, we talked about at the start of the show. I figure whatever's going on, it's already zoned. It's obviously permitted. It's happening. Then just enjoy, accept it, thank you. When somebody gives you a win, you say thank you and you move on. What happens now from here?
No.
They finish the building. They will finish the building.
Needs to be occupied.
Will it be a data center? Something else? We know these people are connected to Bezos and Slate. Are we going to get something there? Because it has a higher roof, which we think higher roofs mean cranes, which means manufacturing. I don't know, but it's a good thing.
And another issue, again, in rebuffing the mayor's statement, is you got to realize that there are ancillary businesses that will provide goods and services to this $40,000 factory. If it's a data center, electricity. Who provides electricity? Well, NIPSCO. So if it's water, it's the Michigan City Sanitary District. Who provides water to this particular data center? If not the sanitary district. There would be income coming in on water usage that will maybe help the sanitary district pay some additional bills and maybe have some additional funds to clean out ditches on the west side of town. Who knows?
And maybe the white ditch should get cleaned out.
Maybe that is.
Because the 212 corridor is ripe and ready for more operations
And
like this.
that's within this
And
designated
that is
area.
perfect. That maybe people would start building other things on the 212 corridor, because this could be the anchor we need, which was there when ANCO was there,
Yeah.
on the 212 corridor. It's ready, and then you go south of 212, which was, we just added sewer and water to all that area we annexed south of the airport. That's sitting ready. This could be, and probably is, the impetus, the change that Michigan City needs in that 212 corridor, south of 20, the annexed area, and I still need, well, I guess both of us and all of us need to figure out what that press release was trying to do. Weird.
Why would
Weird.
a rational thinking individual who is responsible for the 25 square mile area of the city of Michigan City, why would an individual be opposed?
Why
Why?
would you ever
Why?
let an inkling come out that you would be opposed? Because if this is an anchor and people are coming and they want to spend whatever, $800 million, you wouldn't celebrate it at the rooftops and say, this is great, we are started, this is the first step. Everyone come down, 212 corridors ready, the annexed area on 20 is ready, we got sewer, we got water, come on down, we're the people you want to work with, we got your back.
And then,
I don't know.
let's
Weird.
say we get this influx of tax dollars coming in. There may be some residents who reside in certain areas of Michigan City that need housing. Maybe there'd be an impetus for them to get a job, maybe in one of these ancillary businesses, to maybe better themselves. Isn't that what our way of life is all about?
This just seems like a jumping off point of a fantastic future of Michigan City. I don't know why in the world, I don't understand why that press release put out. Really could have just said nothing and let it go, because you had to know that there's a permit. You had to know that they are already building that.
Yeah. Any major project of this magnitude must bring tangible value and benefit to Michigan City residents. The mayor said.
What's the tangible value? 800 million?
No.
$2 billion?
It has
trillion?
no, 5 times the amount, because we're still living in 45 years ago, and you know, we're still in the horse and buggy era. You know, I'm just being,
Now,
I'm being critical.
to go over this press release. While initial discussions took place, and we're both past politicians, we know how to couch words. No formal agreement was ever reached at the local level. Unfortunately, the developer did not present any binding commitments that would ensure lasting benefits for Michigan City. The developer did not present any binding commitments. Not yet. I think she's negotiating in the press. I think she has an agreement, and she doesn't like it, and good for you, Angie, if you're trying to get more. It's a dangerous game to play. But $800 million, if you get a little something more of it, good. So there are agreements coming.
2%. Oh, yeah. What's your 2% of 800 million? What did you just say?
Well, 800 million
2% of that.
10% is 80 million, 1% is 8 million, so $16 million. So suppose it's 2 million. Wait, 2 million. Suppose it's $1 million in extra tax revenue from this. What is the city short this year from the state? $1 million.
Yeah.
That fills the hole.
Well, that's
strange.
right. That's something that hasn't been, that people maybe don't know about. School city is going to be shortchanged. The municipalities are going to be shortchanged. Excuse me. There's a financial move afoot to shortchange everybody across the board.
And exchange that shortchange. Oh, here's the beauty of this. If the Michigan cities shortchange $1 million in revenue from the state, and we have to make that up somewhere. The state wants us to pass a wheel tax, the state wants us to pass an extra income tax. If we don't have to do that, because we get this development here with an
The
extra
taxpayers benefit.
we all benefit, and then more people want to move to Michigan City, because guess what they did? They didn't pass an extra income tax. They didn't pass a wheel tax. They plugged their hole with development. Wow, we only have 2 minutes. I knew we would never get through this. This is a one-issue show. This is a whiz-bang.
Tony brought his stack of stuff that we didn't even touch. Right
I
now,
have stacks of
it's
stuff.
a cradle for his cell phone.
We'll never get there, and maybe we shouldn't. But this last thing, this is a great opportunity for Michigan City. I think we are behind the game. We are, because the permit's already issued and they're building the building. Good for Michigan City. Kudos.
Yeah, yeah. And again, why question progress?
Why the cloak and dagger, I don't know.
We've been questioning progress for the last 45 years.
And we have.
Where's it got us?
It's in your hands. It's in our grasp right now. $800 million.
Are we down about 1 minute now, Anthony?
There you go.
We're down to 1 minute. I hope we made sense. Again, Tony is more fluent in his dialogue, his commentary than I am, because I'm a little rough around the edges. But
this guy did what I didn't do. He drove out and looked at it. Pretty simple. Anyways.
yeah. Well, again, there's somebody else at the national level talking about common sense. I wonder who that may be. I want to thank everybody for watching. Hey, wait a minute. I'm sure glad we got a few extra seconds here. I forgot my closing statements. I want to thank everybody for watching. Your input to improvements or criticisms of this show is greatly appreciated. Please contact Show's co-producers Bob Pollock, Dave Beeler, or Tony Hendricks. You may email Bob at skrpollock@gmail.com, Dave at djbeeler1@hotmail.com, or Tony at email@yahoo.com, or you may direct your ideas for any future self to our own wandering staff writer, Sarah Bellum. Showing of our program will be Saturday morning at 10 a.m., also Monday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m., and numerous times on Channel 99. Don't forget, if you missed the TV show, you can also watch us on our YouTube channel, Navigate News and Views. I want to thank everybody for watching, and make it a good day.